So Revelation 12, verse 11 says this, "But they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, for they did not cling to life even in the face of death." So welcome to part 2 of my testimony. So let me reiterate that the Lutheran Church didn't talk anything about being saved. I didn't know what that was. But at the age of 19, I had asked Jesus to save me. Now, I had never probably heard those terms before, and I don't know why I said it. It isn't anything that I would have ever said on my own. I truly think that I was being led to that because that wasn't anything that I had ever heard before. And so I truly knew nothing at that particular point. I didn't understand the significance of that. But those were words that I said when I was 19. So as I mentioned in the first video, that I was sitting there, I recognized that I didn't need the pastor to forgive my sins, that I could ask for forgiveness on my own. And then it was sometimes later, there was something else. And pretty soon the floodgates were opened and I knew that I had to leave. Now, all of my children were born under the Lutheran church that I was going to. And when my husband and I, when we were married, he didn't particularly like my Lutheran church, but I liked it, so we were staying because that was how it was. So he had grown accustomed to it. And inside, I'm realizing that I can't stay here. So by the time, I've never mentioned how many children I have, but let me just say that by the time the third child was born, I didn't know what I was going to do because I recognized that infant baptism wasn't in the Bible. And I also knew that this was something I had to do because I wasn't strong enough to stand up to my family. By my family, I don't mean my husband, I just mean my extended family, my parents, etc. I knew that baptizing this child wasn't the right thing to do in terms of an infant baptism, but I also knew that I had to do it because I just didn't think that I was strong enough. So I planned to finish my teaching of my Sunday school for that year and then leave in the fall. So I had this third child that I had baptized knowing that there was no infant baptism in the Bible. And I was finishing out the Sunday school year, and then I was just going to leave. I was just going to leave gracefully because I just didn't want any kind of turmoil. So there was an incident where I was talking to another gal that I knew about something that happened at the park, and the church secretary happened to be walking by, and she thought that I was gossiping about somebody, and I wasn't. And so she called up some people and told them that I was gossiping, which wasn't true. And so I called her and I told her I didn't do what you said that I did, and I didn't know how many people she had told. But the point is, now that I was leaving, nobody knew this, but of course, now that I'm leaving, I left. The people will think that I left because of what I did, because I was gossiping, even though I wasn't. So anything that I had learned at that point, that the Lutheran Church, that anything that I'd learned that they weren't doing that was biblical, I would have no opportunity to share it because people would think that I was leaving because I was accused of gossiping, which I didn't do. So I just planned to leave and go quietly. And I'm sure everybody thought that I left because of that. And I had mentioned in previous videos that I also was afraid to leave. My mother was very proud of her Lutheran faith, and I knew my mother would disown me if I left. But at this point, I had gotten strong enough that I knew that I could take that and I would be okay with that. And went to kind of finish out the Sunday school year and then made plans to leave. But then my mom died very unexpectedly. So I didn't have to worry about being disowned by her. And from there, we ended up going to a Baptist church. So I'm out of time for this video. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.